All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for our last series of the night here. We got some Division D action. Lethal Shootas versus 2 Jits, 1 Unk. Lethal Shootas, the last team to be streamed. So we get our first look at a team. And of course, it's a team that's been having some great success here in Division D. So I am joined here by the man, myth, the legend, Pen. Welcome to the desk, brother.
Yeah, thanks. I feel like I'm here probably a little too much, but I'm not going to complain. Yeah, no, I'm just happy to get the chance to see Lethal Shootas last team stream, like you said. I wanted to see it, wanted to be there.
Yeah, no, I know you. You've been streaming a lot, but I know you've been pretty passionate about some of the lower divisions. So, figure we can. I'll allow you, Pen. I'll allow you to join this stream with me.
Wow, I'm honored. I'm honored.
No, I'm kidding. It's always a great time having you on. So. No, it's last series of the night here. Lethal Shootas, 2 Jits, 1 Unk. It should be a pretty good blast here. We got quite a few familiar names on here when we do dive into it later. But let's take a quick peek at some of the overall Division D standings here. Lethal Shootas, like I said, probably the most successful team so far in Division D. 100% winning percentage on these guys. They have not lost a game yet, leading the division in goals per game, shooting percentage as well. Looks like these guys have been absolutely dominant. They're going up against 2 Jits, 1 Unk here. One of the best names, in my opinion, in all of Dcrl so far. They're on a straight 50% on the season so far, and nothing too crazy standing out on the stats so far. Pretty much just kind of run of the mill, kind of across the board here. But I do want to apologize for the long intermission, but we had a couple of quick series, so we're trying to wanted to get this one on time. And I think 2 Jits, 1 Unk had a player that was kind of going to be here right on time, so wanted to just kind of postpone it a little bit before we get into the last one here. But is there anything you kind of wanted to point out on the division stats here, Pen?
Yeah, so looking at the board, we see Lethal Shooters at that 100%. They currently coming in 2 sweeps. They got them over Blitz and Singularity, so lower division like there. However, 2 Jits, 1 Unk fell heavily first week to Granny Shifters, who then proceeded to also get swept by Blitz. So this division makes no sense. I feel like it needs a little bit more time to even out, to get those teams that you know are going to be higher in the standings, lower in the standings. I think the only things you're really going to be looking at specifically are goals per game. Lethal Shootas are lethally shooting at a insane rate of 47%. So we'll see if that comes through today. And at the same time, their goals against is heavily, like, extremely low. I mean, so is 2 Jits and 1 Unks, but like it's gonna be a bit of a rough time to see whose defense holds up better.
Yeah, no, that's a great analysis there. Let's go ahead and dive into who exactly is on each of these teams. I know, Pen, you've been developed a good relationship with the captain of this team, Kemek. I'll let you talk a little bit about these guys.
Yeah, so Kemet came in on Optic last season, Divi. He came in magically as a captain. He was placed a little higher than he thought, but he's not going to complain. Yeah, no, he's been working hard with his team. He's had I've seen them in channels quite a lot, but Kemek's just made that switch during this winter from KBM to controller. So not only is he coming off of having a peak of like a low diamond, hitting his highest peak actually about 2 days ago. He's coming in with a controller changeup where he's hitting stuff that he only ever dreamed of on KBM. I was like, you know what? Let's play a twos game randomly. I'm like decently high cash MMR. We play the game. He instantly hits a double tap on him. I'm like, all right, well, what the heck happened to Kemek? This is not the guy that I initially met. He's followed up by PTG, the real man with his own acronym. He actually played extremely well last season. They went on the low baller side to go and win the whole thing with Lil Thicky. He played fantastic. He was one of the main men in Div E that actually made that stride. And then Hip Dusty on the receiving end of that finals. Maztos and Hip Dusty made one of the powerhouses of Div E just to fall right at the end. So this team has got players that have all made LAN or got to play at LAN. Kemek was a sub, but all in all, it's a team full of pretty effective players, specifically in Div E though. No Div D representation on this team.
Yeah, and I think that has kind of almost been one of the downfalls of this team, right? Is there's quite a few players in there's a couple players at least, I should say, in this current Division D that had last season Division D experience. So there's definitely going to be some advantage to a couple of those teams that have, you know, previous season Division D members on them, and this team unfortunately does not. So they got a pretty high learning curve ahead of them. But like you said, all three of these players played fantastic last season in Div E. So they definitely have what it takes to learn and adapt. And you can see that they've already found a win on the season. So we're going to see if they can find another one here tonight. But their opponent looking pretty tough here in Lethal Shootas, 2-0 on the season. This team is captained by a longtime member of the Dcrl community. Last season didn't go the best for him, but looks like this man is absolutely popping off right now. Ricky LaFour. If you've ever talked to this guy, he's a blast to talk to. Very, very funny to talk to. Very just kind of whimsical guy. 1.5 goals per game and one of the craziest shooting percentages I have ever seen in Dcrl history. I know it's only been through 2 weeks, but 75% through 2 series is actually just unheard of. I mean, that's got to be almost double what everybody else is getting. A crazy shooting season from him so far. He's joined by Warrior, who was a Division E captain last semester. Didn't have the best season, and I know, you know, he's looking for a bounce back, and it looks like he's getting just that here on this Lethal Shootas team. And then they're joined lastly by Duck, who also shooting pretty lights out by most standards at 38%, as well as getting decent amount of goals per game. So this team looks very well rounded, especially when Ricky is playing like he has been, Penn.
Yeah, no doubt. And honestly, this team, Ricky LaFleur had a good. Actually, you say it didn't end out too well, which is true. They ended up losing in playoffs, but they had one of the most insane playoff runs of last season. In Div D, he was on Dcrl Dweven, the 3rd place team. They made a run. They were 1 game off of making land. I mean, he was playing well. His team was playing well, and all of his teammates have gone on. Specifically, Real Robo is making strides. He tried to win earlier today. Sadly, fell to a loss, but his teammates are making strides. He's making strides. So I want to see Ricky LaFleur perform at that level that he was performing at last season, if not beyond that. And it looks like he's doing that so far with the leading in goals and in shooting percentage. Warrior last season had a very unlucky time. Sadly, due to the fact that we are not all seeing eyes, he got a bit of an unlucky pick for one of his players. Had a bit of a rough season with that. It worked out though, and he's now on a team with a man who seems to have his stuff together, because they're up 2-0. Full 100% winning percentage, and this is just a team of vibes. Ricky LaFleur, good time, a good person to be around. Duck is honestly funny as hell. I've been in a couple calls with him, and Warriors got a mentality of win-win-win. So I'm hoping this comes together for a good shootout.
Yeah, no, for sure. You highlighted it very well. I do apologize for a lot of the yap. I know we got a comment in the chat there. Like we said, we're kind of trying to stall out and give a lot of information here, because this game we're supposed to start here for another 3 minutes. So like, you gotta hold on for the ride here, brother. But we're gonna get into this one quick. But Penn, have you ever seen a shooting percentage like that? 75%. I've never seen anything above 50, like genuinely.
Okay, I've never seen anything that high out of 2 weeks. I've seen, yep. I think there was an 80% one time out of 1 week, but 2 weeks, I mean, theirs dropped to like 50, 60 something. Out of 2 weeks, shooting 3 out of your 4 shots in the goal, and you're shooting 2 shots a game, so you're averaging, like, you're almost guaranteed to get a goal. That's insane from Ricky. And some people in the chat stated a little earlier that he's playing above his level here down in Div D. So we'll see if that continues today.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder if he should have gotten picked up by one of those, you know, Div C teams. I mean, looks like absolute dominance right now from this guy. So I'm super excited. But Penn, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you before we get into this one, what's gonna be your prediction here tonight?
Ooh, I like Chemic. I think his team is an over the board, like a solid team, but I think they need time to grow and develop. And I don't think they take this Lethal Shootas out right away. As someone who's trying to coach with them and work with them, I don't see it quite yet. I want them to prove me wrong. I hope they prove me wrong, but I'm gonna take Lethal Shootas in, I'm gonna say 4.
Okay, that's a good shout. I think it's really easy to see by the stats that they might take this one. I'm gonna believe in my boy Chemic. I'm gonna believe in him. I think there's a decent chance that they could take this one. Like you said, Chemic's been on that grind lately. You know, we know what PTG is capable of. I'm gonna say they're gonna take it in 4 as well. So a 4v4 We're gonna go ahead and end submissions here as we segue into game number 1 here. 2 Jits, 1 Unk faced with the current titan of this Division D. We're gonna see what this lethal Shootas team is made of.
Yeah, no, it would make me no less happier a man to be wrong in that prediction. I want Kemek to win, but I also, seeing that stats, I've played with Ricky LaFleur. He's not a bad player, as we see here. He's able to take that one out of the side. Can't get it past Porter, but he's playing quick on the ball, and he's playing the walls like he's supposed to be there, which is uncommon, especially down in Div D.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's going to be something to keep an eye on, because we saw those insane stat lines from Ricky LaFleur. We're going to see if he can keep it up on stream where it matters most, in front of all of the crowd of Dcrl. Looks like a little bit of awkward play here. Kemek finds a bump. Warrior going to try and carry this ball out. A little bit of awkward rotations here. Ricky LaFleur with that pigeon topper. I think I don't know what his obsession is with pigeons, but last season he had a team name literally based around pigeons. So I don't know if you know the lore there, Pen.
Yeah, so he actually owns a pigeon.
Oh.
So that's like in the background. Sometimes he'd pull it out, but yeah, no, he's got a pigeon rocking in a crate behind him. So we'll see if we can ask for it. If they get a win here, we'll get to see the pigeon maybe. But yeah, it's kind of an identity. It's not like a Rhino thing, but Warrior gets an early one, puts that one away, and they find themselves with an early lead. We'll see if we see that, but yeah, it's looking good for them so far.
Yeah, no, that's just a great 50 there by Ricky, even finding that bump at the end there. Warrior, he doesn't have to put a lot of power on that one. Finds that ball into the back of the net, and lethal Shootas already finding themselves in the lead here. These the Div Goats. That's kind of what this 2 Jits, 1 Unk team really is. Just a lot of very solid Div players from last semester. We're gonna see if they can find some success here. PTG has an opportunity. Unfortunately, just can't find a touch here. Duck trying to find it, hit Dusty with a couple of flicks, gets it around him. Kemek gonna put this ball in the backfield, and unfortunately, Porter the Great backflips on that one. A little bit of an awkward rotations here. A little bit of hesitancy from Hip Dusty. Duck gonna have a shot, barely rings it off. Triple tap, almost just ends up going in for lethal Shootas as they're looking to try and double their lead.
Yeah, this ball floating back into the orange half. Porter the Great quick on it. PTG can't quite get there in time. He's able to get a pop mid. Can Hip Dusty follow? Not well enough. Duck's gonna have a nice touch long. Warrior can't follow it up quickly yet. Kemek gets past one. That's a nice touch, but no follow-up from either team here as this ball's floating in the corner. PTG tries to go mid, can't quite find it. This ball rolling back mid towards Kemek. He pops it over, tries to find one, not quite. Warrior able to get that one to the corner, and Ricky will try to clear it out.
Hip Dusty now out of his own corner. Trying to get this ball midfield. It's there, but ends up pinching it off the back wall. Have an unfortunate touch there. PTG with a shot. It's a ripper, but saved away by, I believe, Ricky there, who makes a very good save on a high power shot. Looking for a redirect off on the counterattack there. Finds it into the back of the net. Catches that last defender lacking, and lethal Shootas double their lead.
I got a comment. He's under his quota right now. He's only shooting 50%, not 100. I'm at 75. I'm gonna need my lawyer here. We'll see if he can continue though. That's a nice touch by Duck off the kickoff. PTG stuck in the corner. Can he get a nice touch past one? Yes, he can. Warrior flies past it. Hip Dusty though, quick on the follow. Ricky on his back foot, able to get a pop around one, but PTG quick on the follow. Warrior, the nice touch to the corner, but it floats a little bit here. Warrior gets another one. Can he beat out Hip Dusty? Put this one on target. It's floating on, and it finds its way off the corner there. Fantastic shot from Warrior.
Yeah, wow, that's a great counterattack there. Hip Dusty just looking a little bit awkward there, maybe trying to recover, just can't do it in time. Warrior gets that final beat, and lethal Shootas now up by 3 with 1:40 to go. 2 Jits, 1 Unk. Unfortunately, they've had a couple chances, but not able to capitalize on any of them so far. They're gonna need to start putting some goals in here. Kemek has a shot. Warrior awkward. Ricky LaFleur there to save the day. On a diving goal line save, and that's just gonna take all the momentum out of this 2 Jits, 1 Unk push.
You know what? Okay, I like the development, to see the development. Dcrl, oh, what a shot from Duck! My bad, I'll shut up. But no, that's a great hit to the backboard. It's really hard for them to read that. He gets a nice touch over 2, and Kemek just awkward on his own back line, doesn't rotate back post, doesn't rotate anywhere he needs to be, and instead just gets shot over his head. If I'm gonna go back to what I was trying to say, World, before they shut me up. One thing that I like to see right now is development, and Ricky is showing the purest form of development. Last season, he wouldn't leave the goal line. He played a very defensive third man, and we're seeing a completely different Ricky this season. He's playing aggressive. He's going for shots. He's got good offensive pressure. I just really hope that continues because it's honestly beautiful to see. It's like Gray Skull actually attacking instead of just going for demos.
I can't help but wonder what. I mean, if we do get to talk about, talking to him in a winner's interview, I'm going to ask him about what his mindset was last season with that, defensive play style versus, coming into this play style he's doing now, where it's kind of, I mean, he's still playing a little defensive, it seems like, but ultimately he's been getting involved, a lot more offensively, obviously, as we saw by the stats. So it's going to be interesting to see what can happen here. But 30 seconds to go. Can 2 Jits 1 on find a goal here as, unfortunately, PTG sends that one wide. Ball's floating in this blue half for quite some time. Kemek finally goes up for it. Maybe not the best touch. We're going to try and find a touch. Couple of misses come out. Allows Duck to get a touch. PTG can't read the play. Unfortunately, as time wanes down here, it's going to look pretty impossible here for 2 Jits, 1 Unk. And Lethal Shootas is going to take game number 1 in a very convincing fashion.
Yeah, they really do. And honestly, they played what I'd like to call the brick wall foundation. They had one guy sit there in their back line and do jack. And then the other 2 just ran around going for offensive plays and trying to cut off their offense. And I mean, it worked perfectly. Their defense was very consistent on that back line, and it kept them from any awkward situations. All in all, they looked fantastic on defense. Their offense worked. I mean, if they keep this up, this is going to be a very rough series for 2 Jits and 1 Unk to find themselves back into.
Yeah, again, I think the stats kind of supported this one perfectly. I mean, I think we all could have kind of guessed what it was going to be like. Ricky, again, shooting very well right now. Hitting under his 75% mark. I think this game he had 50%, but still going to be high nonetheless. It's something that I'm going to be paying attention to this whole series. But again, Lethal Shootas were just pretty much controlling this the whole way. 2 Jits, 1 Unk just looking a little bit too slow to some of these balls. Just a little bit awkward rotations. They just kind of need to kind of pick up the pace a little bit, it seems like, to kind of match the pace that Lethal Shootas are bringing right now.
Yeah, no doubt. And Ricky LaFleur, I talked to them because I actually was talking a lot to that Dale Dweven team last season, and something that he was that he was running into is that he was playing with XLS, and I don't know if you remember a lot about XLS, but let's just say he liked to go for the ball, and so he'd end up double committing a lot, and that might have been a strange to the issue. Now that he has teammates that he understands a little more, but they also can shoot. Warrior, that's a quick one.
Warrior is one of these players, like we mentioned before. He is looking for redemption after his last season. I know he's looking, to prove himself here in Dcrl. And with a teammate like Ricky LaFleur, he's able to work off of that perfectly. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Ooh. Kickoff goal. A hard sheet from Ricky LaFleur works out. A great, kill of the ball off the kickoff by Duck. And that's going to be a goal every day of the week for Ricky.
Yeah, the hard sheet, when it happens and when it works, it's one of the scariest things, and that works really well for them. They're already up 2-0. We're 8 seconds in. This is just not looking good for this 2 Jits 1 Unk side.
Yeah, Duck out of his own corner here. Going to put this midfield. Kemek, a little bit awkward here. Porter comes flying in to try and find a 50 here. Rotation's looking a bit awkward right now for 2 Jits 1 Unk. Seeing some double commits and some cut rotations, and again, I'm starting to sense a little bit of desperation already here in game 2. Maybe even a lack of trust per se. Kemet gonna bang this one upfield as 2 Jits 1 Unk trying to get something going offensively.
Yeah, this ball staying, man. Ricky LaFleur on the follow. Can he get anything more? No. Hipdusty able to hit that one to the side. Duck to follow. Can't quite find it. Hipdusty gets another opportunity, but it's just not a consistent and accurate touch. And I think that's one thing that I'd love to see from Duck this game. While he is playing that third man, he's playing very defensive. His touches are powerful, and that means a whole lot, especially down in Div D.
Yeah, no, for sure. If you can just get solid contact with the ball in Division D, it's very, very helpful. As Kemek almost gets a favorable 50 there. Warrior makes a decent touch in his own corner there. Looked a little bit scary. It looked like a good opportunity finally for 2 Jits 1 Unk here. PTG looking for something here. Gets a good touch around 1. A little bit awkward here from Duck. Second man's a little bit slow. Kemek puts a shot on and it goes in. 2 Jits 1 Unk find a goal here and bring this lead back down to 1.
Yeah, it's a nice shot from Chemic. Slices between the defenders, finds one through, and they got it to go. A bit of a defensive mistake led to an offensive opportunity. They find their goal. They need to keep that up, though. They need to keep that pressure on. They need to make sure their touches are like fully on that ball. They need to get that defense in a scramble mode and try to find their way through. It's gonna be rough. This defense has actually been playing extremely well, but I'm glad they found one. We'll see if they can do more.
Oh, that's a good touch by Warrior, though. Could have been dangerous. Hipdusty looking to continue this offensive drive. Warrior looking to clear it out. PTG holding midfield. Not the best touch, though. Allows Warrior to get another touch. Ricky going to come flying in. Warrior, can he find the angle? But cannot, as Chemic kind of sends this ball down. Duck as the last man back. Gets a touch around Chemic. Pinch comes out between Chemic and Hipdusty. Looks like Chemic is starting to try to pick up the aggression a little bit, but hopefully it doesn't backfire. A little bit unpredictable. Porter the Great looking to clear this ball out of his own half. See if anything comes from it, but Duck able to shut that one down.
Yeah, it's a nice touch around one, but Warrior collects well. Slots this one into the sidewall. That one off the backboard doesn't do much here as Hipdust is able to push it in their half. Ricky on the defensive weight, able to get that ball cleared, but it's straight back to PTG. PTG long to Duck. Duck. That's a good pop, but a follow by Chemic here might leave it a little dangerous as this ball's floating. Warrior with the miss. Ricky able to get that one to the side. We'll see if he can follow it out of his own half, but they're on their back foot here. That's a bad touch by Duck. PTG on the follow. Can he get anything mid? It's a nice touchdown. Is anyone there to follow? No. Warrior with a whiff. Ricky LaFleur awkward. Chemic with a nice touch to the mid, but Duck's there and gets a nice booming clear, and they will remain here with a very, very, very nice, comfortable 1-goal lead, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when your defense is solid, it's enough.
Yeah, no, it seems like 2 Jits, 1 Unk. They have these spurts where they're going super aggressive, super aggro, and then sometimes where there's just a lack of a second man, where it's almost a little bit too defensive, and it kind of seems to be going back and forth. Oh, that's an unfortunate touch there from PTG, but luckily for him, it doesn't end up in a goal. But I'm looking for a bit more consistency of the rotations from 2 Jits, 1 Unk right now. It just kind of seems all over the place and sporadic, and it's hard to it's kind of hard to play around, and hard to predict if you're part of that team.
Yeah, this ball floating mid. Ricky on the back line gets a nice touch, but it's not followable. Hipdusty gets power, but it's off target. This ball from Duck. It's a whiff on the second touch. A bit of a team bump there, but PTG finds it through. Chemic to the back line. Ricky with a nice cut. This ball floating back into the blue half. Will stay in their control, but only temporarily, as Duck's going to get one clear, or maybe another here. No, Hipdusty higher than him gets a nice touch to the corner. This ball floating mid. Hipdusty can't find anything more as Warrior gets a nice touch to the side. He takes his time, plays it low and slow. PTG gets a nice clear back into the orange. Can he get anything mid for his team? The ball's slow, but Duck able to get up there. Keeps it from going too awkward here, but Chemic with a popping touch. Warrior on the follow. He tries to put that one on. A double commit on defense might leave them in shambles, but not quite. Hipdusty able to get that one wide. Duck back into the corner. Can PTG play it out to touch round 1? No more. Chemic will just delay and try to move this into the orange half.
10 seconds to go. They desperately need something here. Could be something here coming. Hipdusty puts his midfield. It's a little bit too much power. Porter the Great can't quite read it. Maybe one more chance here. Chemic doesn't have a lot of boost. Gonna bang it across. Is there anybody there? Porter the Great's there. Can't get a shot off. Defended well by Lethal Shootas. And 2 Jits, 1 Unk come close tying that one up. But Lethal Shootas hang on for the ride and take game 2, progressing to match point.
Yeah, Whirl, I gotta ask you. I have my own thoughts, but I want to know, what do you think 2 Jits, 1 Unk have to do here to actually find themselves back in this series? What offensive pressure do they need? What defensive hold do you think they need? What is that area that they need to improve on?
Like I said earlier, it's for me, it's a lot of the rotations right now. It's just sporadic, kind of all over the place. There's times where they're super aggressive. And then there's times where, a couple players might be playing super passive and nobody's on the ball, giving the other team complete control and space. I'm looking for more predictability, because I can tell you right now, all 3 of those members are a little bit confused as to who's going, when they're going, are they going to be aggressive, who's not. I'm looking for them to clean up the rotations and be a little bit more predictable. They had a good pressure, but it feels like they're just not able to to predict each other and read the play very well right now.
Yeah, that's fair. I want to see one thing out of them here, though, specifically. I want to see at least one of them when they're on offense pull what I like to call the Styles positioning, where you sit right next to the goal and just hope it skids across. They would have had 3 goals that game because they would get a nice pass and float mid, but no one would be there. I want to see that effective pressure at Hip Dusty early on, 3 seconds in, finds a goal.
There we go. That's what you like to see. Just some aggression there. A good, dare I say, a dookie from Hip Dusty, the pre-flip dookie. I didn't even see that real time there. A crazy goal 3 seconds into game 3. All off of some Hip Dusty magic. And 2 Jits, 1 Unk off to a great start here.
Yeah, Warrior launches that into the backboard. Kemek on the follow out. Ricky LaFleur leads it for Duck. Duck takes it into the corner here for Warrior. Warrior high up on the wall. It's going to be an awkward read for him. PTG might get a better touch. Ricky launches that one off PTG's center. Floating back line. Can Ricky get anything? No, it's a whiff. Floating back into the orange half. Duck in his own back corner with a whiff. Warrior forced to play it out. A lot of whiffs coming out here on the defensive side. We'll hope that doesn't continue as he whiffs another one. Ricky's forced to play it out of his own half. It's a nice 2 touches. Duck on the follow. Can't get anything on target, so Hypnosis will get a free clear to the side. And a nice little follow, but Ricky already on top of it. Playing this one forward, but PTG with a nice cut. Warrior booming hard with a waterfall down. Is anyone there? Warrior. It's a nice follow-up, but nothing comes of it. And this ball's going to go right back in the orange half.
Yeah, no, 2 Jits, 1 Unk. I mean, we saw it in game 2. They came pretty close a couple times tying up that game. They've had some good aggression here and a couple of really good chances. You know, that game 1 was definitely just kind of almost a fluke, if I do say so myself. 2 Jits, 1 Unk definitely looking a little bit more even for this Lethal Shootas team in games 2 and 3. We're going to see if they can continue it and keep this lead up. His Hip Dusty kind of pops it over for Ricky, who doesn't have a lot of boost, can't get the best touch. And now Warrior pops it up again. Duck going to be in an awkward spot here. PTG can't find the touch over him. Could have been their second goal. As Kemek now going to come barreling in. Some good midfield presence here. Maybe looking for a bump, some disruption coming out, but unable to find it. And 2 Jits, 1 Unk barely holding on to their lead so far.
Yeah, it's ball floating mid. Duck's going to get a bit of offensive pressure, but it's going to float out to the corner. PTG, if you can get a good read here, we'll have a nice clear. That one's a little high. It's going to stay in their half a little longer than they expect, but Kemek with a nice touch. Just an awkward recovery. He gets bumped into the boost, though. They have offensive pressure. They all have boost, but a whiff by PTG leaves them a little awkward here.
Ball goes into this blue half. Kemek cannot make the best touch here. Might end up in an awkward play. Hip Dusty makes a 50, but it might be there for Ricky. Can he find the shot? A little bit slow to it. Maybe had a window there. He couldn't find it, though. Duck. Low boost touch there. Order the Great kind of just gives away possession. Not the best touch here. If Dusty pops it over to this back wall, could be dangerous if there's a follow-up, but no one's going to really be there. And unfortunately, a miss comes out and allows his ball to stay in this orange half.
Yeah, floating back. Kemek can't do much there. This ball floats out to Hip Dusty. He hits this one mid. Kemek there. Only gets a pop, though. This ball, a double demo by Ricky LaFleur might leave them in bad trouble here, but no, they respond in time. Ricky LaFleur, though, on the follow. It's a whiff by 1. Duck, last man back. Hip Dusty, no boost, but can he find something center? Yes, he can. The Doomsday attempt not there, but PTG there for the follow-up on the nice pass. And a 2-goal lead for 2 Jits, 1 Unk.
There we go. We're starting to see some offensive work come out here from 2 Jits, 1 Unk. That's a great center and a great play there from Hip Dusty to get that in a position for Porter to come in. And I've noticed some hesitancy from Porter the Great. So it's good to see him kind of getting active and playing a little bit more proactive to be able to be in a spot to score that goal. And that's going to be their biggest lead of the series so far. But it's definitely not over yet. There's still a lot of Rocket League to be played. We'll see if they can hold on to this lead. Minute 42 to left. Could be dangerous. Kemek looking a little bit awkward right now. PTG comes in to save the day. Let's see if he can get a clear out here, Warrior. It's a decent 50 here. He's got a lot of boost to work with. An unfortunate backflip, but it doesn't matter. Duck gonna get his first goal of the series. And that's a beautiful little redirect there from the third man.
That's a nice touch by Duck. Wow. Little bit of a low aerial, but it finds its way into the net, and they're 1 goal away from tying the series up. A lot of time left here. If you're 2 Jits, 1 Unk, you're looking to find your way into a more comfortable lead here, as they are not looking comfortable on defense right now.
Yeah, it really is. And you got to remember, this Lethal Shootas team, they are undefeated so far this season. If 2 Jits, 1 Unk can take at least a game away it'll definitely be a chip in Lethal Shoota's shoulder. So it'll be an achievement of itself if 2Jits1 can find something. Hip Dusty not able to make the touch. Was in a decent spot to do it, but it's so hard when you're going back at that speed to make the right touch there. And Lethal Shootas tie it up with a minute to go.
Yeah, they get the tie there, and all that work seems to be for naught. As with a minute left here, they need to find another goal here. They need to find a way to keep themselves in control of this series. And Lethal Shootas looking to be a thorn in their side, looking to keep them back in their own location as Duck gets a bad 50. This ball floating mid. Is anyone there? No. Warrior with a better touch. Gets this one past PTG. Can he get a follow here? PTG with a nice cut. Gets around one, but Ricky there. Ricky high up on the wall. PTG beats. This ball floating back into the orange half. Duck with a little bit of a touch, but PTG cuts it off early. Duck again with a little cut. Ricky the floor. Got a better follow on this one. He's trying to go for a ceiling shot. Puts this one down, but it's not on target. Foley there, and 3 defenders there to stop him. This ball floating back into the orange corner. Duck gets a pop. Kamek on the follow-up. Puts this one high right, but not on target. Foley just barely off the bar there. Sadly, that one does not go.
That could have been an icy moment there for Kamek to put that goal in with a little bit of time left. 10 seconds to go. Will we see an OT here, or will some end of the game magic happen? 3 seconds to go. Demo comes out. A little bit slow here. Warrior gonna pop it up. Might keep us alive. Get one more touch. He can't. And we are going to see a game 3 OT. Lethal Shootas one goal away from ending this series right here, right now.
Yeah, match point's a hard one to beat those. Duck, though, able to sail around 2. Can he find a pass to a third? No, Kamek gets that one to the side. He's got time on the wall. He plays it off and tries to follow. He gets a nice ground pinch. Can he do anything more with it? Ricky LaFleur, though, up high on the wall. Pops this one over. Quarter of the grate. Back into his own corner towards Kamek. Kamek goes off the wall. He's got collection. He's got control, but not enough to get through much. Hip Dusty, though, on the follow. But a nice little ball straight to Ricky, though. Will leave him on offensive pressure. A nice little skimmer. Doesn't put it off the crossbar. Finds his way home, and that's a quick little sweep from Lethal Shootas.
What a touch there from Ricky LaFleur to set that one up. An even better follow-up from Duck, being proactive to be there. And they win it in OT. 2Jits make them sweat to almost give them their first game loss of the season, but fall just 1 goal short. And Lethal Shootas, again, another 3-0 sweep. 3 3-0 sweeps here on the stream tonight, which historically hasn't been very common here this season. But unfortunately, it just is what it is. But 2Jits1 had a very good chance, especially in those games 2 and 3, really bringing it to this Lethal Shootas team, proving that they have a chance. Whenever it's a 1-goal game, it's really anybody's game, especially when it goes to OT. So shout outs to 2Jits1 for bringing it to him, but Lethal Shootas was just a little bit too good, and ended off in 3. Alrighty, let's go ahead and see if we can get these guys in for a bit of a winner's interview here. See if we can get them in. I'm excited to talk to Ricky and see what he's got to say. So let's go ahead and drag these boys in. Oh, somebody. I don't know who that was.
He's on Xbox or PS probably. It's Warrior. I think he's on Xbox.
Okay, I had to give. What worked was I gave Drewski the caster role, and then he was able to join the VC directly. So I'm gonna go do that. It's definitely some weird perm issues. Sorry for the 2 guys in here. Give me a sec here while we try and get Warrior in here. There's some weird
Congrats,
stuff.
though, boys. How you feeling? Well, he works on that.
Hello,
Ricky, Duck. They're just ignoring us. We're not cool enough.
Can they hear us?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Oh,
Ricky, you there?
Ricky.
Yeah, I'm here. Do you want to wait for other Warrior or?
Other
We're
Warrior.
working on getting him in.
We're working on getting him in. We're gonna just kind of continue on. I'll work on getting him in here, boys, but I'll let Penn kind of take over while we try and get him in here.
Yeah. How you boys feeling? How was that win for you?
Hello, Penn. It's been great to see you after last year.
Yeah, no,
But,
you're playing extremely well, man.
Yes, 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 yes. We as a team are.
What can go on here? Oh,
Hello,
am I here?
warrior.
Yep, you're here. I got you now.
Okay. Alright, bet.
We as a team are playing very well so far. Honestly, for these guys being from Division E last year, I think they're really showing their spot in Division D, honestly.
Fair enough. I mean, it showed. You guys played fantastic in that run. I'm not gonna lie. I got a quick question for you, specifically to Duck. Duck, my man. Have you
Yeah.
been working on the off season, or like what happened? You were playing lights out ball out there. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, it has been a while. I was in Dcrl 2 seasons ago, so I think it was spring last year that I was a part of TV04, the original 04HA 2004 Honda Accord, if anyone remembers that.
Throwback.
But
I do remember that team.
ever since then, bro, it's been crazy. I've been balling out. Huge props to Ricky and Warrior, honestly, for helping me get into more high level lobbies so I can get a little bit better at my skills. But that game, honestly, probably the best game I've played in a long, long time.
Glad to hear it.
Love to hear it. I'm glad to hear people having success. It's a lot of fun. I always like hearing people progress. But anyways, I'll toss it over to you now, Warrior, a little bit. I know you didn't. I mean, this has kind of been one of the storylines I talk about. You didn't have the best season last season. Couldn't quite get to where you were wanting to be. How does it feel to be on this Lethal Shootas team and finding so much success already in season 6 here?
Yeah, man, it feels great. Yeah, last season it was a little rough. I mean, still had a lot of fun, but it's very nice being on a team where, we can have good comms and just trust in each other and actually get dubs. So, feels
Yeah,
great.
it's definitely a big part of our team is, you know, I'm not after I've played a lot of seasons now. This is, I think, now my 5th season of
Yep.
Dcrl. And I'm gonna be straight up, like our comms has been the best out of all of the teams that I played out of my 5 seasons.
Sheesh. All right,
Damn.
all right.
Calling him out.
Falling
That's
out.
how Robo you said that.
I'm sorry. No, nothing like that. Damn. You call me out like that.
One thing I want to ask you real quick, Ricky. Last season in specific, I remember you had a very, very defensive playstyle. I remember watching a couple streams where you were literally just like parking the bus right in your own net, just kind of playing almost like a goalie. It seems like you're kind of switching up a little bit. There was a couple moments where I saw that come out here tonight, but it seems like you're getting
You see that almost off the ceiling shot?
I did almost see that. So my question is is that a calculated change of play style from you being a little bit more offensive this season?
100% for sure. Coming into the season, I knew that obviously as the team captain and the people that I picked, I knew I picked my players. If you're a good captain and you want to make a really good team, take the time to look into the background of your players. And that's what I did, and with that I formulated a plan basically from there. And basically the difference from last season to this season, Robo and XL, both Dcrl champions, they themselves, as I felt last season, were more the offensive. And I know even to now I'm still pretty good on my defensive role.
Yep.
But the difference is that I feel like I'm the offensive player now basically for this season. So
All right.
I feel like I gotta take that main role in making the plays and trying to make something happen basically, other than just sitting in the net and trying to save the ball basically.
I was gonna say it's pretty drastic difference from last semester. I remember multiple series where I was just like, Ricky's literally just playing a goalie right now. Holy cow, like this is kind of crazy to see. But no, it's been a lot of fun seeing you get more involved offensively all around. So one last piece of glaze here, Ricky. You literally have had the highest shooting percentage that I've ever seen through a couple of weeks. I mean, we've seen a couple crazy ones for like 1 week, but the fact that you had a 75% shooting percentage through 2 weeks was absolutely insane. Like I've literally never seen that
I did not
before.
know that.
It might have gone
the GOAT.
it might have gone down a little bit, but I mean, you're still shooting great tonight, but it's super hard to keep a 75%. I mean, most people have like 30, 20%. So, that was an insane stat line.
Honestly,
I gotta give you kudos.
that's just one of my biggest things. Honestly, with tonight, I told both of these dudes right here, just go out, go crazy, and obviously we went out and went crazy. And I think with that mentality of going a little crazy, you take more shots.
Yep.
So I think that's where I'm coming from, basically, on that.
All right, fair enough. But anyways, this has gone on long enough. Huge congrats on your win. You guys are so far quite literally perfect. You
Only team that has been undefeated.
Yep, I was gonna say you literally haven't lost a game. Literally haven't lost a game. It's been 3-0 sweeps, literally every single series so far. So you guys are looking like one of the favorites, and I'm glad we finally got to catch you on stream, boys. All right, peace out. Good luck.
Thank you.
Jeez,
You as
thanks
well.
for having
See ya.
us.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. The last series of the night. Lethal Shootas taking it in 3. Like we said, the last team that hasn't been able to be on stream yet. And man, oh man, Penn, did they show out.
Yeah, they really did. I honestly didn't expect that. Happy to see it though. And honestly, what I like to see is that the games got a little more competitive.
Yep.
I mean, 2 Jits 1 Unk had the lead at a certain point. They ended up losing it, but like that just shows, hey, it's still a close league, even though it's on the paper it's going to see 3-0 sweep, but if you look at those games, it's a lot closer. It's a lot more effective play style, especially even down in this Div D that I've seen in seasons past.
Yeah, no, you worded it perfectly. You have to give kudos to 2 Jits 1 Unk there, especially games 2 and 3. 1 goal games, OT in game 3 could have been anybody's game, right? You got to give kudos to 2 Jits 1 Unk. They definitely showed a lot of promise. And those Div E boys, I trust in them. I trust in those guys to make something happen here in Division D. So I'm excited to see what they can do for the rest of the season. But it's going to continue to be the story of who can take down Lethal Shootas, even in a game. That's kind of going to be the game we're playing here in Division D. I think the Div C captains might have made a mistake letting Ricky Lafour go as low as he did. Maybe a little bit on us for ranking him low, but it's looking pretty dangerous here for Lethal Shootas. So without further ado, I mean, Penn, do you got anything else you want to say before we toss her off for the night?
I mean, if I'm gonna say anything, it's right below us. We got our socials. Make sure you follow. Make sure you check out all those. We're actually now putting out shorts. They're getting put out on multiple platforms, and on top of that, we have YouTube videos of all of the streams finally getting put out. So if you want to see the VOD from this, if you're one of the players, go in. If you played earlier this week, go in. They'll be out eventually. We're working on that right now. If you're not in the Discord and you're watching right now, Dcrl. Discord.gg/Dcrl on the bottom right, and if you're going to make poor life decisions, you might as well give us a cut. Use Epic Creator Code Dcrl, but please do not make any poor life decisions because of our code. Thank you so much, though, and have a great night.
There we go, Penn with the plugs right there. One thing I will say, minus all that stuff, is like Penn said, we're starting to post stuff on social media. So the only way you can get featured on social media is if you personally go in. You can do so after the stream is done. And go clip whatever you want. It can be anything from your series, anybody else's series. We have a channel called Dcrl Clip Submission. The only way it gets put on social media is if a clip is put in there. That's where our social media guys are going to pull from. So we're not going to go out searching for clips on our own because that's super time consuming. So if you have something you want to see on social media, make sure you go clip it and go put it in that channel. But Penn covered everything else for me. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for stopping in here tonight for a couple DCRL matches, and I'm sure we will be back very shortly, so stay tuned. Peace out, guys.